Choc do? Choc did this, didn't he?
Oh, there's another mic on the floor
There
there.
should be two mics here.
I just had a message come through from a friend of mine who's selling tickets for $1,500 each, second tier.
Anyone looking for?
Come and see me.
Anyone looking for some grand final tickets?
Yes, but not
I don't think you'll get much cheaper on the last day. Anyways, Joe.
The big dance is tomorrow. Welcome, of course, Pies Footy. Boys, it was absolutely incredible having you boys on. Am I that beaming, am I?
Too pretty.
I'm too pretty.
Your foreheads are absolutely glistening from these beautiful lights.
Jeez, now you're making me really self-conscious. Welcome aboard, boys. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on during the course of the year. And a massive thank you as well for, of course, shouting us out and doing all you can to help promote this show. We really appreciate it. We're really sorry about Nick Dacos not being able to get up for the Brownlow. I definitely would have liked him to get up for you boys, but what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was a bit hard, wasn't it? We did a watch along. We thought he might have, probably wasn't going to pull too many votes early on, but we knew he was going to finish strong. Chris had an amazing year. Did we really think, someone was going to pull 38 votes, still lose by 7? Probably not.
That was unreal, yeah.
But look, can't be too mad at the result. Maybe just the winning margin is probably what I'm cut about, champs. What about you?
So I just want to say just quickly, what you're trying to say, it was absolute fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it was bullshit, wasn't it? Yeah. Reform.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he was saying. Well read.
I'm more disappointed about Bont not polling as well as he probably
100%.
should have. That hurts me more than anything, because I think if you ask anyone on the scene, Bont's probably the most complete player in the AFL, isn't he?
Yeah. Love the Bonds. Should have been right up there. I thought in the top 3 for sure. Disappointing.
Sarong was up there. Sarong definitely polled very well.
That's all right.
Like, I understand, that obviously people are going to say that Bont's getting votes taken off him by, the likes of Treloar and Libba and things like that. But I'm just convinced that the umpires think that he's playing cricket or something half the time, like 32 disposals and 2 goals. But, it is what it is. He's had a very almost season, an almost career. Almost someone might say pretty close to you, because Dutchie, you've been really close to getting life membership at Collingwood, but you just haven't been able to get it, right?
Yeah, well, there's a few ways you can get life membership, in fact, at AFL clubs. One is winning a premiership, and we came runner-up in the year that I played in the grand final, so that's no good. You can win a best and fairest, and I came runner-up in the best and fairest. You can play 150 games, and I played 120, so that's no good
or
either.
you can finger Eddie Maguire.
Or you can,
With 4 fingers.
or you can play 10
The thumb
years
goes elsewhere.
at one club, and I played 8, and they sacked me when I didn't deserve to be sacked. So yeah, anyway, no, I'm stiff. You don't have to be dead to be
Very
stiff.
stiff. That was unbelievable. All those different ways, but go for
I
it.
was going to say, Dutchie, I do want to pump you up about that West Coast game back in 2002. People might remember that as the Chris Judd debut game, 20-1, but Dutchie 20-8 is hard to beat.
I did get 3 votes that day. I didn't get many votes in the Brownlow. Probably about 7 or 8 in my whole career, but I did get the 3. I was pretty happy with that. Yeah.
And Coach Cole, I want you to know that Dutchie's got pretty good story time, and I've seen on your TikTok the Anzac Day story about Paul Medhurst.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's a beauty.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Another Claremont boy.
Yeah. So how much time we got here? Do you want the long one or the short? I'll give you the short version. All right.
The TikTok one.
So I reckon Anzac Day 2008, I think it was. 2008. I've rocked up, change rooms, walk in. I'm not playing. I'm injured at the time, which I was for those last couple of years. And walk in and I saw Paul Medhurst, who's a good friend of mine. You know Medhurst pretty well, good friend of yours. And I go, Medhurst, how you travelling, mate? He goes, yeah, fucking good. Real good. I go, what do you mean real good? He goes, well, I had this clear dream last night that I won the Anzac Day medal. And I go, oh, mate, that's awesome, mate. Fuck, good luck. You know, it sounds like you're real confident today. Good luck. I hope you... And he goes, no. I don't think you understand. I'm going to win it. I had this dream. It is so clear, so vivid. It is ridiculous. I am going to win the medal and I will kick 6 goals. I've seen myself kick 6 goals in this dream and it's so clear. I've got it done. I go, mate, that's awesome. He goes, no. I don't think you understand. I am so confident that I'm going to win the Anzac Day medal that I've been practicing my speech all morning in the mirror. He goes, it's done. It's a done deal. He goes, I promise you, I'm going to get this done. And I just thought he was taking it. I didn't know if he was serious or taking the piss or what. I just didn't know. Anyway, I didn't say anything to anyone. I just went upstairs and got ready to watch the game. And he was on fire in the first half. Kicked 3 goals in the first half, and he was probably nearly best on, if not best on, the first half. I didn't know what to say to anyone. I didn't think anyone would believe me that I'm sitting with. So I've gone down into the change rooms at half time just to see him, because I just thought this was the most bizarre thing I've ever experienced. He was on the massage table, and I've tapped him on the shoulder, and he didn't even know that it was me. He just went like this without even looking. He turned around and gone, 3 more to go, Dutchie. Like that. And how did he know it was me? It was the weirdest thing of all time. Anyway, I go, mate, good luck, mate. You're killing it, mate. This is the most exciting thing I've ever seen. Went upstairs, dominated the second half, kicked 3 goals, best on ground, walks up, gets the medal. And if you go back and see, I don't know if it's on YouTube or whatever, if you can find that speech that he makes after winning the Anzac Day medal 2008, it is flawless, because 100% he was practicing that speech that morning.
Power of positive thinking, isn't it?
He's
Martin Luther King. He's Martin Luther King of Hollywood, mate.
Tell us about Anzac Day as well, because it's such a big spectacle. You played in a few of them. Big rivalry, obviously, with Essendon. What was that like?
Oh, it was amazing. It was like playing in a grand final, mid-season, really. Great, obviously representing the Anzacs and those that went to war for us and all the rest of it. Amazing. It is a real privilege, and it is a different day. There's a different sort of energy in the air on those days, and when you obviously walk out, it feels like a grand final. Very similar to a grand final, the whole vibe, everything. But the best thing about it is, in a grand final, generally speaking, is you don't always get 50%. You know, Essendon and Collingwood, let's say they're in a grand final, you wouldn't get that. You might get 30%, and the rest are corporates or other supporters or people that have bought $1,500 tickets at the last minute. You know, things like that. So on Anzac Day, you do get nearly 50-50 ratio in terms of supporters, which means the energy and the crowd is crazy. Like, I remember the first Anzac Day I ever played in, 3/4 time, we were up on Essendon. Essendon were unbelievable in that. So remember, they won in 2000, 2001, they were nearly as good that year. We were coming back, we were sort of on, Collingwood are back. And we were up at 3/4 time, and then the siren went. I'm standing in the forward pocket, and the siren went, and the crowd went, you know that. And anyone to say the hairs on the back of your neck stick up, that was probably the first and only time that really happened to me.
Oh, other than when you met Sarita for the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the whole head, not just the back.
Sorry.
Caleb, you had a question?
Pubic hair, back to Anzac Day. Let's go.
Guess not. Sorry, mate.
No, I know you've got a question. I just want to go on Anzac Day. I know.
It's like sitting here.
Playing
That's right.
against James Hird, who I think he'd won 3 or 4 Anzac medals.
Oh, Jimmy.
What was that like, seeing him on that stage? Why couldn't he be stopped?
Well, he couldn't be stopped because I did stop him one day. So, actually, let me get these years right. He won 2 of the last 3 medals, and I think it was 2006. We hadn't beaten him for 2 or 3 years. 3 years. I think they'd won 3 in a row, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but they'd won at least the last 2. James Hird had come home in a flurry in those games and played unbelievably well in last quarters, kicked goals and lots of possession. I'm sitting on the bench like this, had a pretty ordinary game. We were in front, but they were coming home like a steam train halfway through the last quarter. The phone rings, and Barmy goes, well, here, Dutchie, it's Mick. And I go, what the hell was he on? I never speak to him on the phone. Anyway, he gets on the phone, he goes, go to Hird and do what you need to do to stop him. So I go, rightio, boss. And put the phone down, and off I went out on the field. He was actually on fire. Like, he was running forward at every stoppage, and he was so powerful and fit. And I'm going, how am I going to stop this bloke? And I couldn't stop him. He was just too good. He was too fit. But he hadn't got his hands on the footy yet, but I could see he was threatening. So I think, what am I going to do here? So I Superman dove on him and put him in a headlock, and we just wrestled on the ground for I don't know how long. It must have been 3 minutes. It felt like an eternity, but we were just wrestling and wrestling away. And the next thing you know, we get up and we're both buggered, and we're looking at each other, and then the siren goes, and we won. And so I did my job really well. So, and remember, he won 2 of the last 3 medals in having amazing games in the last quarter. So I went off after the game, and I'm walking past Mick in the change rooms, and he stops, and he looks at me, Mick, and he goes, and just winks. He just kept walking.
That's all you need.
No, we'll pivot a little bit here. But so, hard-added player, tagging boys, running through boys. Who is, the best hit you got? Can't say Brett. Maybe your favourite suspension. Maybe like, I got him good there.
The best hit that I put on anyone else, and it can't be Montgomery.
No.
Really? Well, I knocked out, remember that little fella from Sydney, Philandia? I knocked him out.
He bit
I
someone's
knocked him out
testicle.
one day it was an accidental knockout.
It was
by the
an
way.
accidental bite of the testicle.
I fair hip and shoulder. Remember the old days where you could do the hip and shoulder?
No,
it was one of those ones, and he got put out on the... But there was no remonstration, no
He didn't
nothing.
bite your testicle?
I think maybe his teammates didn't like him.
Is it true you can't play local footy because of the suspensions at AFL level?
I'm not allowed to play footy anymore because I've had too many reports of suspensions.
Not even local?
unfortunately. Not even local. We can't play anywhere, no. So that's
Fake
why
name?
I travel over to Bali every year for the Indonesian Masters competition just so I can have a kick with my mates. Unfortunately, I've been a naughty boy over the years.
There you go.
Mate, Tassie's coming up soon. And you've been coaching. Potential there?
Probably not senior coach. I'm a little bit raw for that, but definitely love to get involved in some way, shape or form. I'd love to be going north somewhere where there's a bit of sun rather than going south where there's zero vitamin D whatsoever. But I do love my home state, and I would love to get involved in some way, shape or form and just help out, even if it was in development coaching or something like that. It'd be sensational.
So, Dutchy, you love Tasmania. You love the Pies. Right now, you get a job offer. Collingwood or Tassie. Who are you picking?
What's the salary on each one?
Exact same. Exact same.
Oh,
Where does your heart go?
Oh, that's a tough one. That would be a tough one. I love the concept of getting involved in Tassie and bringing it through and being one of those inaugural sort of coaches that got it all going. But I'm an obsessed Collingwood person too, so that is a tough one. Depends who called me. If Bucks called me, I'd probably say Collingwood.
Was he as unlikable as a player as he was as a coach?
Oh, mate,
No, I'm joking.
I love Bucks. I love Bucks. He was a legend. Did so much for me. But the Tassie thing is just like, it is growing legs at the moment. Like I get a text from Alistair Lynch every couple of weeks, just a bit different information about what's going on in Tassie. I know Chris Fagan's keen to help out in some way, shape or form, even though he's coaching Brisbane. He wants to get Tassie up and running. Brendan Bolton's in the background. Some good coaches out there that are Tassie people.
Would Clarko get involved as well? He's awesome.
Well, well, I don't know. He's on a big wicket there at North Melbourne, but he'd want to do something at North first, to keep the reputation rolling, wouldn't he? Any North supporters in the room at all, by the way?
There is a few.
Oh,
North
there's
supporters.
a couple. There's a couple. Yeah. All right.
Actually, we just mentioned Bucks just then, and he was on a podcast recently. He talked about growing up as an aspiring AFL player. He had troubles with, not to get on a serious note, but he had troubles with, discerning the difference between approval as a person versus approval as an AFL player, trying to get approval from his father. Did you ever have those dramas as you got into the AFL scene? Like, were you, in your mind, like, if I'm not a good footballer, I'm not a good person?
Yeah, look, my dad was pretty low-key. My dad played 200 games of state league footy in Tassie. He was team of the decade for Glenorchy in the state league. So he's pretty handy footballer. I got asked to come over and try it with Richmond and Carlton many years ago and didn't come because he was a state wicketkeeper at the time for Tassie. So he had a bit of talent, but he had a lot of knowledge too in coaching his own right. But he really let me just play footy. And enjoy it. Didn't get in the way of the coaches. And that's what parents need to do in this day and age. You've got to stay out of it. Let the coaches coach.
Let the coaches coach.
Let the coaches coach. Stay out of it. If you've got some general things to say during the week, that's great. But don't put pressure on your kids. I don't like that. I just like, let the kids find what they love to do. Let them find their work rate, their work ethic and their motivation. the harder you push them, the more likely they are of giving up that sport in any given time. So, I was pretty lucky with that. Dad was pretty relaxed, even though he had great education on the game.
Now, Dutch, we're going to go back to grand final because it is grand final week. And we've got the great Simon Black in the room, who's coming up next. You played against him in 03. What was it like coming up against that Brisbane team that won 3 premierships in a row?
Well, I started on ACCA in that game. If you go and watch the vision, remember I said I was very overwhelmed with the whole grand final, and I got lost in the anxiousness and nervousness of it all a little bit that day. But I started on ACCA, but if you go back and watch, we started on the wing together. We ran in together, but I was tagging him pretty much, or running with him at least. I started on the wrong side of ACCA. I started on the offensive side of ACCA when I was tagging him. So you could already see that I wasn't, my head wasn't quite switched on where it should have been. And I think he had 8 touches and kicked the goal in the first quarter, and I got dragged and spent most of the second quarter on the bench. I shouldn't laugh, should I? Because I fucked it up. And then at half time, Mick comes up to me, he's gone, rightio, Simon Black's on fire, you're going to him, don't let him touch the footy. So I've gone, yeah, I can do that, boss. So I went out there. I should have done a James Hurd on you, Blackie.
Yeah, you're lucky to do a James Hurd.
But no, once again, went out, thought I can get this going, blah, blah, blah. But, mate, he is a machine. He's the fittest player I've ever played on. And, mate, he was just on fire that day. I've never seen anything like it. The ball just kept falling in his lap everywhere he went. But his work rate was just incredible. I've never seen anything like it. And when people actually ask me who's the best player you ever played on, quite often, Blackie would be in my top couple of players that I played on as well. I'm not just saying that because he's here, but he's an absolute legend of the game, and certainly the best couple of players I played on.
I was going to actually ask you that question, so thank you for answering that one. If you had to pick someone else, apart from James Hurd, maybe?
Well, Peter Philandia, obviously.
He saw to him. Clearly, he saw to him. No problems there. But who would you say would be, all right then, on the flip side, who's the best teammate you ever played with at the Pies?
Oh, best teammate, like some selfless player that you played with, or someone that you just love playing with.
Yeah, someone that you loved playing with.
Oh, can I mention a couple of guys? Because a couple
these
of guys.
Are people that
when I talk to my local players about players you love playing with, it's never the Nathan Buckleys necessarily, or the Scotty Burnses of the world, or Anthony Rockers that you love. You still love playing with those guys. They're the stars, and they're great footballers and selfless. But I remember guys. Does anyone remember Rupert Matheris?
Oh, I love Rupert. Still see him.
Yeah, so Rupert Matheris is one I always remember, because this is what he used to do. I used to tag a lot. I'd tag a player, and then I'd say get tackled to the ground, and then the player that I'd be playing on would zip off down the ground, and you know what he would do? He'd go, I've got him, Dutchie. And he would run 100 metres, and not just run, and he would tag him. He would tag him until I could get back to that player at the next reset or the next stoppage. And he wouldn't just tag him, he would bash the crap out of him. And then by the time I got back to him, he was out. He was out on his legs. He was spent. And he's just thinking, oh, this is a day that I just don't want to be playing footy. And then you just knew you had these guys. So I love playing with him, because absolute 100% trust in him. The other one who was a star was Paul Acuria. Love playing with Liquor. Absolutely. Yeah, he was hot. Superstar of the game, especially, like through that early 2000s. He won a couple of Copeland trophies. He was getting 35 touches a game and tagging the best players in the opposition.
Port Adelaide game.
He
was good for a couple of years.
He had 40 touches, I think, and tagged. I can't remember. Franco, well done. Coach Cole always knows. Franco was the best inside mid in the comp just about at that stage, or one of the, and he towed him up big time, and we won that qualifying final when they finished clearly on top. So, no, Liquor was great to play with, and he was one, once again, always come back to the guys who 100% trust to help you out. If you get in a fight, they're going to be there. If you're someone, you get caught out, they'll cover for you. And they're always those great blokes off field too. He's a ripping bloke off the field.
Great, Dutch. Guys, before we go, any questions for Dutchie before we move on to the next break? Got a roaming mic here, have we?
There is a roaming mic.
No.
Got a couple of questions.
There it
I
is.
think I can see there.
Put your hands up. There we go. We've got one at the back there. I think Chock's got one, has he? There we go. This is going to be good.
back.
Stand up, Chock.
Sorry, mate. I don't want to make this all about me, but you obviously won the granny recently. What happened on Mad Monday? Tell us everything.
Well, actually, I wasn't going to go to Mad Monday because I had 2 big nights, Saturday and Sunday. And I said, Sarita was going out, had a job on the Monday. I said, I'm not going to Mad Monday. I'm over this. I'm too old for this. And she rang me at 2 o'clock and I was on the way. I was on the way there. And she goes, well, I thought you said you weren't going. I said, oh, the boys are ringing me. They're saying, where the hell are you? I've got to do the right thing. So I rocked up late, though. The boys didn't make me skull because usually if you rock up late, as you know, you've got to skull. But I put the cue in the rack. I just said, I'm just going to sip away. I only stayed for 5 hours. So I was there from 2 to 7. So I'm a bit soft these days, Choco. In my heyday, I'd be there from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. And that would just be warming up. These days, I'm just, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to back up in your 40s. Oh, what did I dress up as? I dressed up as Kurt Cobain. Remember him from Nirvana? I dress up as him every year because that's all I got in my wardrobe.
Well, you've done Jim Morrison once before.
I did Jim Morrison. Yeah, you gave me that outfit, didn't you?
Yeah, did.
Yeah. That was a good one, actually. Yeah.
That's a good one. He
think,
loves the dead
Brodie-
musos.
Yeah, correct.
I think for not sculling at Mad Monday, you might have to make up for it with the rest
Can
of
we
the
get a
group right
tradie
there.
beer? Can we get a tradie
Maybe
beer?
we get a little chant going.
Tradie skull. All right, here we go.
We like to drink with Brodie because Brodie is our mate. And when we drink with Brodie, he's already done it. He's an alcoholic.
Get him another one.
Get him another one, Chock. Get him a freshie.
Get him another one, Chock.
Shotgun.
Any more questions, guys, from the audience there before we say goodbye to Dutch? No one?
Have a crack.
Bueller?
Beautiful.
Anyone? Bueller?
No one asked me about footy trips. Can I just say one more thing before we go? Simon Black and I were on a footy trip in Bali back in 1999, I reckon that would have been. Yeah. And we were just reminiscing about that. We were actually best mates for one night, that night, weren't we?
Should we get Blackie up here now, guys, and reminisce about this?
We drove around in
Let's get
Kuta
Blackie
on a
up here.
moped together, and we partied with people we didn't know from all around the world at all hours of the morning.
Let's get Blackie up. Come on, Blackie,
anyway,
come up.
that's another story. I'll let Blackie finish that one off for you.